So y'all, I was like, though, belching and everything. All right, cool. So Tony's right. How are you? I feel like this is just not stable. There we go. So this is my video about my thesis. It's an updated, well, not an updated, but it's more like a what do you want to call it? It is more like me talking about influences. There we go. I was trying to figure out like how to like say this. So the last video I mentioned was kind of like the beginnings of my thesis, and I'm gonna like go to my account. I'm like looking at my account to see. Yeah, content. Okay, so yeah, so I was explaining a little bit about my thesis and where I was seeing it go, and so this is kind of like a progression of that. And I just did a video about like some of the influences, the books that are influencing my writing and things that I admire about them that I want to like put into my stuff. So I think my collection is it's about the body, but it's a more surreal element. I think for me, I like the idea of surrealism because I am an animist, and so what I mean by that is just an animist is just someone who generally believes in like spirits of things and the interaction with the natural world, and even the power of inanimate objects to be imbued with spiritual authority and power. And that's just kind of like where I am. So I'm not particularly religious, but I am somebody who's interested in that kind of stuff. All right, cool. Boom, bet. So I am really getting interested in surrealist like poetry and surrealism and the ideas that come from that. And I want to kind of embody that. So there is a lot of symbology for me. Some of my topics that I'm interested in talking about through my poetry collection is death, childhood, motherhood, familial kind of like relationships, my physical body, decay, nourishment, those kind of things. So how did I conceive of this? So over the summer before before school like kind of started, I had been thinking about my thesis. I was pretty open-ended in terms of like I knew I didn't want my thesis to be like heavily rooted in like, how can I say this? Like, I feel like sometimes, like, when you're a Black writer, you have to write about, like, the trauma, like, the angle of the trauma. And I don't necessarily want to do that. Like, or talking overtly about heritage, particularly slavery, and kind of dealing with that in 21st century. But it's like, this isn't an activist kind of book. So I wanted to steer clear of that. I wanted something that felt honest and stuff like that. And as I progressed, started school, and like I'm taking my 3 classes, one of which being screenwriting, I had the idea of doing one that follows like character development, and I was kind of sold on that. But then I started to switch as I started to write and edit poems. So there was a period where like I didn't have cable home, so I was going to Panera Bread and I was editing and writing a lot. And so I was writing and editing a lot, and so I started to think about like the body and healing and health and like my massage journey and like sex and sexuality and stuff like that. So like all these topics started to come together, and I was like, well, I want to then write about the body, my body and experiences with body and familial relationships, and we can expand it out like that and like go from there. And my recent thing with Amy Bender, I wanted like characterization to be a central part. So each poem is a level, it's not necessarily like I want to structure it where a deepening level of intimacy progresses throughout the book, but that each poem is an intimacy of getting to know me, because in many ways, people talk to me, they feel like very elusive and like closed off, and it's like, once you get to know me, I'm not necessarily that, but there's a journey of me being closed off to myself and various experiences that have opened me up, and I want to talk about them. And I think I'm at the point where I want to talk about those things because I feel comfortable enough in my skin, and so this collection is more like an exploration of that as well. So the main thing that I want the collection to want people to take away is like the intimacy and the privilege of me speaking these things, but no, the intimacy and awareness, self-awareness, awareness of the world, kind of things, and even like the blind spots, that kind of stuff. And then also the surrealist element, because I am the animist in the group at my school. Like, what's that, bitch? Like, a lot of people are like agnostic, Christian atheists. Like, they fall somewhere in there. And I'm in like an animist. I'm over here. So it's cool. So I like how AI overview. I'm like, I need to like maybe get rid of this, because I'm like, it's like that is the first like source of information, AI overview, which is like very dangerous. But AI overview says surrealist poetry, it emerged in 1920s, debatable, aiming to unlock the unconscious mind by blending dreams and reality through techniques like automatic writing. It features irrational juxtaposition, startling imagery, and a disregard for the traditional logic and narrative structure to explore desire, dreams, and the subconscious. And that's kind of where my poetry is kind of resting. And so I don't necessarily want to make my stuff weird, but I do want to, I do want to explore surrealist kind of poets. And so that is kind of my next thing. They're all like French for some reason. But I do want to explore surrealist poetry, and it's something about it that I think also carries an intensity about it that is usually achieved through like very graphic imagery, explicit imagery leaning towards like maybe violence, decay and destruction. But surrealism can be very like unsettling in the way that it is presenting the thing to you, not as truly the thing what it is, but as something else wrapped up in it that you would pay attention to, because maybe the thing, if it was presented as itself, you would miss. And so surrealism in a way is intriguing enough to pull you in, but it's real enough to shock you and cause a before and after kind of experience. Before, during, and after. Before, I was this person. During, this is what I felt. And after, I am now this person. And the need to want to maybe explore what it means to like hop in between times and stuff like that. So, and explore like, when did you change? When did you shift? When did you grow? And so getting deeper into for me, the experiences that I want to talk about and the strangeness of it. It's kind of funny because one of my classmates is talking a lot about husbandry, and that is also sneaking into my in my poetry. I'm like, damn it, it's sneaking into influence. It's only like 5 of us, right? But like, it's like sneaking into it so bad. It's like, girl, like, no. But I do, like, to me, the sea is also very important into this. So half of it probably will be about the sea. The sea, water, like, kind of things. And if you don't know, I'm a Cancer sun, if you're into astrology. Some people may be into astrology on here, but I'm a Cancer sun. And I kind of feel like when I interact with, like, Cancerian created things, it's very, like, watery, nostalgic, memory holding, but very also like in many ways futuristic. I noticed this. I was like, a lot of the producers, like, so we talk about Geminis, and like a lot of people talk about Geminis being like the writer, the singers, and the writers and stuff like that. But I noticed a lot of water signs being the producers, the music producers, and it's very interesting, the people who produce. So I'm interested also in feeling my way through music and listening to a lot of music that opens up like thoughts. So let's get into a little bit of, let's go to my Spotify and I'll tell you kind of like some of the music that has been pushing me to create. And it's not like anything deep. I kind of feel like people are like, yeah, like you really got to be listening to like a whole bunch of like real shit. And it's just like, you know, everything on here is like real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know? I was just listening to Arya Star's Who's That Girl. This just came out in the last like week. Like really like the last, yeah, like literally under a week. So listening to that, and then I did listen to Life of a Showgirl Girl. I did listen to our favorite flop girl that people be talking about. Taylor Swift. I did listen to Life of a Showgirl. Favorite tracks on that: Elizabeth Taylor, Wishlist, Actually Romantic. Not gonna lie. So I was listening to a lot of that. Because Elizabeth Taylor, do you think it's forever? Yes, girl. Them questions. I've listened to a lot of this. Her name is Zayn. She just came out with an album called Ada. Zeyne. She is Palestinian Jordanian. But that opening song that she got on that jump, shit, fire. Like, I swear to God, like, what's that track? Oof, I wish I could play it. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna try and list it down below. But I've been listening to that. That first track was hitting, like that intensity of the music. Dude, yes, really into it. I went back to Taishi, Valerie, that album. For songs on here, this is in Spanish now. So the first person was like in Arabic. Arya Star is like Nigerian, English, Nigerian pidgin, Europe, like all that. The second album was Arabic. This one is in Spanish. So Valerie by Taishi, Quédate Queriéndome, girl, I don't know. Then You Go, I'll Go, Fall from Grace, I was crying in the grocery store. Mona Lisa, and then Grip. But this album was released last year, so it's not like recent. It's like over a year old. But I started going back to that one. Then Khaled, because I want to say Khalid. Is it Khalid? Anyway, not DJ Khaled. I listened to Sincere by him, and then I listened to the latest album, which is After the Sun Goes Down. And I'm gonna be real, I really do fuck with Sincere. I like Sincere. So, songs on there: Adore You, Altitude, Dose, Decline, and then Sincere, which is a titular track. And then After the Sun Goes Down, Medicine, Out of Body, Please Don't Call, Tank Top, and then Hurt People, which is like, it was the closing track, and then they updated it to Nobody. And I'm like, girl, y'all can take that one off. But those are those. My main musical influence, I feel like, right now, though, or what has been consistently, Marina Senna, who is a Brazilian artist who released an album this year called Coisas Naturais, which is, I think, called Natural Things, translated. And the title track is the first opening, and it's really lush. And then songs are like on here Tokito, Lua Chea, and then Oro del Toro, which is like Fool's Gold, I guess. I really like that track, closing track. The artwork for this is stunning. And if you go on her YouTube, you can see like the conceptual ideas and visuals of it, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, this her like artistry right now is like very inspiring to me because she did another like an alternate video of Lua girl, I can't pronounce this, Brazilian Portuguese, but that one was really nice and it was very dream-like, dream worldish, and I feel like that has inspired me because I'm already in the animist thing, and then the music feels kind of like just watery and dreamlike and surreal quality to it. So that's kind of like where I am. Other musical people I've been listening to or just kind of got into Sudan Archives, the BPM. She just released that, so I started listening to it. I did listen to Cardi B, Jade from Little Mix. Liked her album too. Amber Mark, her album came out, really liked it. I've been listening to a little Tate McRae. The Greek lady, oh my god, what's her Greek name? Elena Forina or something like that. She's coming out with a new album in the next few days. Eliana Woleto, the album is she's Palestinian Chilean. I wish I could play these things without getting copy stricken, but like I can't. So I mean, nobody would probably care because like it's like 5 people that watch these videos, but still. But anyway, yeah, these are some of the inspirations and influences. Especially, I'm very intrigued by music, and I really like music in terms of helping me kind of like flow through kind of things, and it's really helping me like a lot. So those are some of my influences. That's another progression in my thesis journey. Like, I'm solidly in the body, I'm solidly on the surrealist track, and now I'm kind of like finding influences and exploring art and stuff like that to solidify the feeling to help me work on the language part. So that's kind of where I am. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.